hardware, man. There's no plan here.
John, what is a nipple extractor?
The most embarrassing thing about plumbing is nipples, because that is just a little piece of pipe that's threaded on both ends of different lengths if you need to attach it to other pieces of pipe for repair or doing new plumbing or something like that. And it's galvanized or it's copper. And when the galvanized plumbing rots after a while, it just rusts inside, and there's an awful lot of that in the old houses, and they don't want to change the whole damn house. So if a length of pipe rusts through, they have to take it out, and it usually breaks out. And so the threaded part's in the pipe, and you've got to get it out. So you have this thing that goes in, and when you turn it, it expands. It opens up. It's in sections, and it opens up, and you can, if you're lucky, you can break loose the threads. But usually you can't. You really gotta do something like radical. Call a plumber. Pay a lot of money. Admit that you can't do this thing. Yeah, they're embarrassing because people ask for them, and often women ask for them. You got to talk about nipples and stuff like that. It's kind of...
That's pretty good. You once talked about a liar you worked with.
Oh, we had some liars. We had three really good liars. One was just so ridiculous. I mean, there were three. There was Ashley and this short guy, I forget his name, but he was a phenomenal liar. He was lovable, but he was a liar. I mean, and his lies were, relatively transparent. One of his lies was real interesting. He would use his lies when he decided not to come to work and not call in. And so one time he doesn't come to work, he doesn't call in, and I never gave a damn because there wasn't enough business to worry about. And I didn't have any power anyway, so I didn't care. But he comes in and he's all sad and morose. And what's the matter, man? Oh, my best friend committed suicide. Your best friend committed suicide? Yeah, it was awful. Oh my God, what a mess. What a mess that must have been. His family's sick and unhappy. What the police say when they came? Well, they didn't have anything to do with that. No, they didn't want anything to do with the police, so nobody knew, and they just took him to the funeral home. I'm going, you're right. Who the hell is going to buy that one? That one's so utterly and completely ridiculous as to be beyond absurd. So he thought I could not imagine at 60 years old that if somebody commits suicide, there has to be an investigation. And if there isn't that, if they die in their sleep, the city has to come. The coroner has to come and check out the body. It has to be registered in the world. You don't just throw it in the car and take the damn thing to the funeral. Here's a cadaver.
That's too bad.
Yeah, it is too bad. There'd be a hell of a lot more unsolved murders that way. So yeah, that was one of his. The other one was his. He used to make these outrageous statements about how much money he made. So one of the smart ass people went online and looked up his website, and his website said contractor, and I don't know why he put this down. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, who cares how much you make a year if you're a contractor? Average salary $250,000, and he's working at City Pickles for $10. $10,
Well, everybody needs a little extra.
Yeah. So this guy ultimately, he really was a laggard, lovable though he was.
Yeah.
He really was a laggard and didn't want to come to work. So ultimately, he feigned having cancer, and came in lamely a few more times, and then he couldn't possibly show up anymore.
It's not. I have a cold.
No.
I have pneumonia.
No. Syphilis.
I've got a bad hip. I have cancer.
I have cancer, and one of the bad ones too. I forget which one he called it. It was one of the real killers. You don't have a chance with this one, right? So what's even dumber about that? What's even more ridiculous about this guy? So charming he was. He was a sweet. He comes in about 3 months later after he quits because he's got a horrible cancer, and he looks fabulous. He looks great. There's nothing wrong. He's all pink.
It's amazing.
Hasn't lost any weight.
It's amazing the drugs.
Yeah, the drugs they have. So I said, well, how you doing, man? How's it going with the problem? Oh yeah, I said, you look awfully good for a man who has cancer. He never came in again. he was gone after that one. But I love the Liars. I really do like the Liars. They're so charming and colorful. It passes time.
There was another guy I guess he had 2 cell phones at once.
Oh yeah, there was this pathetic little skinny guy. They hired, Christ knows what made him think that this guy could do anything. And he had 2 cell phones, and he did nothing but
You're
text.
doing that as if he maybe had holsters.
Well, I think he had them in his pockets. He didn't want anybody to know that what everybody knew, that he spent the whole day talking on these cell phones or texting on these cell phones. He'd wander through the aisles, and as soon as nobody's around, he'd send a text. Or he'd vanish in the men's room. He'd go in the men's room and vanish. One time I went in there, and he's yakking away on his cell phone, yakking and yakking, nothing of any value, and no reason to be doing this. Or he'd be tucked in a corner, and then I caught him on another cell phone. That's how I know he had 2 cell phones. He couldn't possibly do any work, and he was always being sick. A job was an imposition that you had to have to get some money to go to concerts, or maybe get some gas. In any case.
Yeah.
In any case, he had to go somewhere with his mother and father, and so he asked for all this time off, and he was told no. And he said, well, I have to go, and so he went anyway and vanished. He melted away. But shortly after that, they bring in one of these crazy poor souls that was in Katrina, that was displaced because of the Katrina New Orleans fiasco down there. And so he's shipped up to Seattle. He ends up at City People's, and he's another nice, delightful person. Total liar. Liar. Lie and lie and lie. And as I say, I like these guys because they're very entertaining, and they think everybody around them's an idiot.
Well, and they're right.
And they're right. For the most part, they're right. In my case, unfortunately, but it didn't matter because I wasn't going to tell on them. I didn't care. I could do the job. I could do 3 people's jobs.
So
it didn't matter.
what was this guy's angle?
His angle was there was always some problem with some connection with New Orleans. His mother was sick, and at one point, he vanished for about 3 days, and he showed up again. He said, and that was at a time when there were a lot of murders going on shortly after Katrina in New Orleans, and then my brother was murdered. These guys are so nuts. I mean, brother was sick as fine. Brother lost a leg in the storm. No, my brother was murdered. And he's all sullen and da-da-da. My brother was murdered. Okay, yeah, everybody gets that. So they forgive him this. And ultimately, too many of these no-shows and without good excuses, and he melts away too. But he comes back in the store after he's officially sort of vanished. They just sort of wrote him off the books. He comes in, and at the end of about 3 weeks, he shows up, and he's all chipper and happy. And I said, so, I forget his name too. Oh yeah, did they find out anything about your brother? No. He goes right into depressed, wrecked, destroyed person mode. So I know, he's full of shit as a Christmas turkey. On the streets where angels prowl and restless mermaids sweetly howl, of times when farmers quit the plow came the screenplay of Dementia. He said he'd raise a toast to me the first time I got on TV, but never came his words so free. Only the screenplay of Dementia.